At just 6 feet 4 inches and 175 pounds, Allen Iverson was the shortest and lightest MVP in NBA history. But more than his MVP award, his 11 All-Star selections, and his 4 scoring titles, AI stood out as a true cultural icon. He changed the way athletes dressed, the way they spoke, and even the way the point guard position was played. The answer was the idol of his idols, and despite being frequently late and not liking to practice, in 2001, he led one of the most magical runs in the NBA Finals. In this video, we'll talk about Iverson's prime years, the Philadelphia 76ers' despair before his arrival, and how AI achieved basketball immortality by playing on one of the worst offensive teams in history. It all started when Allen Iverson was still in high school, as the Philadelphia 76ers tanked after the 1992 season and the trade of Charles Barkley to the Phoenix Suns. From there, the Sixers became one of the worst teams in the NBA. However, after winning just 18 games in 1996, they were given new hope when they won the draft lottery and secured the first overall pick. The 1996 draft was considered one of the best classes in history, producing 10 All-Stars and 5 Hall of Famers, but the Sixers made the easy choice. They took a chance on the talent they had guaranteed, despite some doubts about Iverson's character and the fact that he was the smallest and lightest player ever drafted. However, there was no doubt about his game. From the moment he stepped onto an NBA court, it was clear that Iverson was the fastest player the league had ever seen. Even as a 165-pound rookie, Iverson struck fear into the hearts of opponents because no one could stay ahead of him. He would change direction with the ball as if it were on a string, accelerate, and outrun anyone at any given moment. Furthermore, despite his small stature, Iverson had a long wingspan, was surprisingly strong, and was fearless. If he was tried to be taken down, he would get back up and come back with everything he had, playing at a high-intensity time and time again. Allen Iverson's first season with the Sixers was a shock to the NBA. Right from the start, in his debut game, he showed that he was not just another rookie. In his first game, Iverson scored 30 points against the Milwaukee Bucks, giving a taste of what was to come. He finished that season averaging an impressive 23.5 points per game, leading all rookies in scoring and showing everyone that his height and weight would not be an obstacle to his success. Iverson brought a style of play that Sixers fans had not seen in a long time: speed, ball skills, and an aggressiveness that was absurd for someone his size. In addition, he began to build a reputation as one of the toughest players to guard in the league. Even on a weak team, AI played with everything he had, and the entire league began to notice that a new star was emerging. AI scored 30 points, which was the 6th highest scoring game of all time for an NBA rookie. Allen also broke Wilt Chamberlain's rookie record of 3 consecutive games with at least 40 points, then went on to score 5 straight games, including a 50-point game in Cleveland against the Cavaliers, who had the second-best defense in the NBA. That season, he became the second youngest player to reach the 50-point plateau. But the most memorable moment of his rookie season came against his idol Michael Jordan. Iverson finished the game against Chicago with 37 points on 15 of 23 shooting, completely outscoring Jordan, who finished with 24 points on 9 of 24 shooting in his rookie year. In Allen Iverson's rookie season, the Philadelphia 76ers were still far from being a competitive team. They finished the 1996-97 regular season with a record of 22-60, a difficult campaign that showed signs of hope with the arrival of Iverson. Even though the team's performance was poor, Iverson was the main attraction, winning Rookie of the Year and putting the Sixers back on the NBA's radar. In Allen Iverson's second season, in 1997-98, his impact on the league became even more evident. Iverson increased his scoring average to 22 points per game, showing that he was not just a passing talent. He also led the NBA in steals, with 2.2 per game, highlighting his defensive effort despite his size. Even with this individual improvement, the Philadelphia 76ers still struggled to find their feet as a team. They finished the season with a record of 31 wins and 51 losses, an improvement over the previous year, but still far from competing in the playoffs. The team clearly depended heavily on Iverson, who was already showing signs of carrying the weight of the franchise on his shoulders. It was in this second year that he began to earn even more respect for his tenacity, speed, and ability to challenge bigger defenders. With his explosive plays and confidence, he established himself as the future of the team, although the Sixers needed to improve around him to truly compete. In Allen Iverson's third season in the NBA, 1998-99, things began to change. It was a lockout-shortened season with only 50 games, but Iverson didn't let that affect his performance. He reached new heights, leading the NBA in scoring with an average of 26.8 points per game, along with 4.9 assists and 2.3 steals. Under coach Larry Brown, the Sixers finally began to build a more competitive roster around Iverson, and it showed in their results. The team finished the season with a record of 28 wins and 22 losses, good enough to qualify for the playoffs for the first time since Iverson's arrival. In the playoffs, Iverson continued his showmanship, helping Philadelphia advance to the first round by defeating the Orlando Magic in 4 games. Although they fell to the Indiana Pacers in the next round, the season marked the beginning of the Sixers' transformation into a true threat in the East. Iverson was already considered one of the NBA's biggest stars, and it was clear that he was just getting started. In the 1999-2000 season, Allen Iverson continued to be the focal point of the Sixers' offense. He averaged 25 shots per game, accounting for nearly a third of the team's attempts, and finished with an impressive 28 points per game, the second best in the league. It was also his first season to be selected to the All-Star game, cementing his status as one of the NBA's biggest stars. The Sixers made the playoffs again and won the first round, but like the year before, they were eliminated in the second round by the Pacers. Even so, Iverson's personal success was evident. He was becoming a cultural icon, with players across the league copying his style, such as his braided hair, tattoos, and baggy clothing, directly influencing NBA fashion and culture. However, his on-court success hid serious problems behind the scenes. Iverson was constantly missing or arriving late for practice, which greatly angered coach Larry Brown. Brown even tried to adjust the team's schedule 20 minutes early to avoid the tardiness, but it didn't work. The situation escalated to the point where Brown publicly criticized Iverson, questioning what the relationship would be like with any employee who repeatedly failed to show up for work. Tensions reached a boiling point when Iverson was suspended for 1 game, causing him to explode in anger. Brown, in turn, demanded that the team decide between him and Iverson. Behind-the-scenes discussions indicated that the Sixers were ready to trade Iverson, and a deal nearly happened. During the offseason, a 4-team trade was hatched between the Pistons, Hornets, Lakers, and Sixers that would have sent Iverson to Detroit. However, the trade was called off at the last minute when Matt Geiger, who was involved in the deal, refused to waive a contract clause. This near trade was a turning point for Iverson. He realized that his actions were putting his career at risk, and that if he didn't change his behavior, the Sixers would get rid of him at the first opportunity. This event marked the beginning of a new mindset for Iverson, who began to take the situation more seriously, knowing that his future with the team was at stake. After the tension of the previous season, Allen Iverson finally had a crucial conversation with coach Larry Brown. In that meeting, Iverson apologized for his behavior and promised to change. "I'm ready to be a leader. I want to be a captain. I'm going to show up on time. And I want to have the kind of relationship that Magic Johnson had with Pat Riley and Michael Jordan had with Phil Jackson." Brown was touched by Iverson's words because it was everything he wanted. When training camp began, Iverson made good on his promise, not missing a single practice or weight training session. Iverson entered the season at 172 pounds, stronger than ever, and his dedication showed on the court. The Sixers started the season with 10 consecutive wins, and Iverson, in addition to continuing to be an offensive force, began distributing the ball more effectively, especially against double teams. He also demonstrated a new demeanor, more engaged during timeouts, and closer to Brown, even hugging him after games. This new dynamic was epitomized in the 2001 All-Star Game. Allen shone in the fourth quarter, leading the Eastern Conference team to victory, and was named MVP of the game. His first words were, "Where's my coach? Where's Coach Brown?" This moment reflected the major turnaround in the relationship between the two. Before the trade deadline, the Sixers further strengthened their team with the acquisition of Dikembe Mutombo, who went on to win the Defensive Player of the Year award. The Sixers secured the top seed in the East, and for the first time since 1983, they looked like real contenders for the title. After defeating the Pacers in the first round of the playoffs, Iverson was crowned league MVP, averaging an impressive 31 points per game. In the second round of the 2001 playoffs, the Sixers faced a formidable obstacle, Vince Carter and the Toronto Raptors. That year, Vince and Allen Iverson were the two most electrifying figures in the NBA, and their duel was epic. In the first game, both teams scored over 35 points, but Toronto came out on top.
Saiu vitorioso.
Vince Carter.
And Carter with the shot. Carter with the tip. Did not take that shot down the stretch. Iverson for three.
Iverson responded in the second game with a 54-point performance, tying the series.
For the game, he has 35 points. Iverson for three. Are up by 5. Raptors have found the range here in the corner, and Allen Iverson finds the range.
Play, and a big thing right now is you've got to try to get the high percentage shot.
Iverson hitting again. Iverson with 47 points, and Allen Iverson off the glass down and has 49.
Carter was not far behind and scored 50 in the next game, putting the Raptors ahead. The match remained evenly matched, with the Sixers tying the series in the fourth game, and Iverson surpassing 50 points again in the fifth game, finishing with 52 points, 7 assists, and 4 steals to give the Sixers the lead.
And that timeout is coming. So it'll be his first. Iverson again. Yes! And a foul on Childs.
Getting hit across him.
Allen for three. Yes! Oh, yes!
Man, Childs has to be tired.
And that'll do it for Allen Iverson.
In the sixth game, Carter shone once again, scoring 39 points and forcing the decider. In the seventh game, however, Carter made a controversial decision. He attended his graduation ceremony in North Carolina on the day of the game. Exhausted after 2 flights, he performed below expectations, even missing the decisive shot that would have eliminated the Sixers. Iverson, despite a night of poor shooting, stood out with 16 assists, a career high, and led the team to victory. In the Eastern Conference Finals, the Sixers faced the Milwaukee Bucks, led by Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, and Glenn Robinson. Milwaukee seemed to dominate the series, especially after Iverson was injured in Game 2. Without their star player, the Sixers were defeated in Game 3. Despite the injury, Iverson returned and led the Sixers to a crucial victory in Game 4, despite a poor offensive performance. In Game 5, things didn't get any better for him, as he shot just 5 of 27 from the field, but the Sixers incredibly won. In Game 6, Iverson again shone with 46 points, but the Bucks forced a 7th game. In the deciding game, Iverson once again showed why he was the MVP, with 44 points and 7 assists to secure the victory and send the Sixers to the NBA Finals for the first time in 18 years.
No entanto,
However,
o adversário
the opponent in
nas
the finals
finais era o
was the
pior
worst possible.
possível.
The
O
Los
Lakers de
Angeles
Shaquille
Lakers of
O'Neal e
Shaquille
Kobe
O'Neal and
Bryant,
Kobe
que estavam
Bryant
invictos
were
nos
undefeated in the
playoffs
playoffs
até aquele
up
momento.
until
No primeiro jogo
in
das
Game
finais
1
de
of the
NBA de
2001
2001,
NBA
Allen
Finals,
Iverson estava
Allen Iverson was
determinado a
determined
mudar o
to
rumo
turn
da
the
série.
tide
No
of the
primeiro
series.
tempo, ele
In the first
incendiou o
half,
jogo,
he lit up
marcando
the game,
30 pontos
scoring
contra
30
Kobe
points
Bryant
against Kobe
e
Bryant
Derek
and
Fisher.
Derek
No
Fisher.
entanto, no
However,
segundo
in the
tempo,
second half,
Phil Jackson
Phil
decidiu
Jackson
usar
decided
Tyronn
to use
Lue,
Tyronn
o sósia de
Iverson's
Iverson,
lookalike,
para marcar
to
o
guard the
armador dos
Sixers' point
Sixers.
guard.
Embora
While
Lue não
was a
fosse um jogador
standout
de
player,
destaque,
he was
ele era
quick enough
rápido
to
o
keep up with
suficiente para
Iverson and
acompanhar
managed to
Iverson
limit
e
his
conseguiu
impact late in
limitar seu
regulation,
impacto no
holding
final do
Iverson
tempo
to just 3
regulamentar,
points.
mantendo
As the
Iverson
game went
apenas
into
3
overtime,
pontos. Com a
Iverson
partida
found
indo
his
para a
rhythm again and
prorrogação,
scored
Iverson
7 of the
encontrou
Sixers'
seu
13
ritmo
points,
novamente e
including an
marcou
iconic
7
shot
dos
that
13
became one
pontos
of the
dos
most memorable
Sixers,
moments
incluindo
in
arremesso
NBA
icônico.
Defender stays right with him. Allen wants to go. Wants the baseline. Fade away. Yes.
He's way too good. He steps around Lou and drilled it. And the Sixers have scored 9 in a row.
7 straight points by Iverson. Looked like he was dead in the water.
The Sixers.
That shot, with its famous crossover over Lou, showcased Iverson's talent and coolness, and showcased his unique and relentless style of play. Iverson, who rarely spoke or taunted on the court, made his voice heard through his play. He finished the game with an impressive 48 points, 6 assists, and 5 steals, almost single-handedly defeating a Lakers team that had been undefeated in the playoffs.
Ball with the rebound. Iverson. Yes. Down to 2. Down to 1. Iverson. Oh, what a spectacular finish.
Much better right now, Mark.
Here's Iverson. Yes. Have the good touch. Sweeping down. Iverson. Lowry was not going anywhere. Iverson.
Here's the same play again. This time they do a nice job defensively, and Iverson steps back and hits the jump shot.
Iverson from way downtown.
That time in the game.
The 76ers with the ball down by 1. Iverson for 3. Yes. I lose. Iverson. Yes.
How about
That will count. The Philadelphia 76ers have defeated the Los Angeles Lakers.
It was one of the greatest individual performances in an NBA Finals, and his performance in Game 1 ranks as the 6th highest scoring performance in an NBA Finals. Unfortunately, the Lakers' dominance showed in the next 4 games, and they went on to win the title. Despite the loss, Iverson was enshrined as a cultural icon and an NBA legend. The 2001 season was a landmark season, with the Sixers averaging 94.7 points per game and Iverson leading the team with an average of 31 points. After the memorable 2001 season, Allen Iverson's career continued to have its ups and downs. In the years that followed, he continued to be an offensive star, but his relationship with the Sixers deteriorated, resulting in his trade to the Denver Nuggets in 2006. In Denver, Iverson maintained his scoring ability, but the team failed to make a deep run in the playoffs. Iverson returned to Philadelphia in 2009, but his second stint with the Sixers was marked by conflicts with the team and health issues. In 2010, he signed with the Detroit Pistons, but his stay was brief and turbulent. Iverson made a final attempt to return to the NBA in 2011 with the Memphis Grizzlies, but made little impact and eventually retired from professional basketball. Over the next few years, he made a few minor league appearances and attempted a brief comeback, but to no avail. Allen Iverson's legacy in the NBA is deep and multifaceted. He was not only one of the most electrifying players in basketball history, but also a cultural icon who left a lasting mark on the sport. Iverson revolutionized the role of the point guard. His unique combination of speed, dribbling ability, and scoring ability made him an unstoppable offensive force. He popularized an aggressive style of play and a never-give-up mentality, challenging the status quo and changing the way point guards were viewed in the NBA. Iverson was also an icon off the court. His lifestyle, including tattoos, baggy clothing, and distinctive hairstyles, challenged the norm and opened doors for other athletes to express their individuality. He influenced the way players wore their clothes and behavior, establishing a more authentic connection with youth and urban culture. Despite his ups and downs, Iverson is remembered for his ability to inspire and impact both the NBA and society. His determination to overcome adversity, both on and off the court, made him a symbol of resilience and authenticity. Iverson also left a legacy of leadership and courage, challenging the establishment and public perception of what it means to be a professional athlete. His influence continues to be felt in the NBA and basketball in general, where his style and spirit still resonate with players and fans around the world.